Good morning, friends. Welcome to another day of almost daily meditation. I'm so glad that you've joined us today, and I'm happy to welcome all of you. Uh, Today is day 3 of our walk through the 30 days of gratitude, and we talked a little bit about, talked about a little bit about gratitude journals one day. We talked some about, sort of seeking gratitude in each moment. We also talked about the challenges of finding gratitude. Um, Sometimes it's just maybe not feeling like it's there. Um, the other thing that's interesting is, and we're going to talk a little bit about sharing gratitude down the road. But when we get into thinking about this, is just how much capacity we find that we have for gratitude. Um, and what that means for us in terms of what we're able to um, what we're able to make room for in our heart and our mind. Some people have told me that when they start these exercises, when they start thinking about gratitude on a daily basis, when they start doing that gratitude journal and they're at it for a week, the first few days are pretty easy. They can find things to be grateful for, and then they have to start working at it. They are surprised how much room they can find to be grateful for things and how much it can change their perspective. One of the books that I just loved growing up was the Winnie the Pooh series. I'm sure you've read that or heard it, or at least know a little bit about it. And it was really fun when I was in college. I took Latin for a number of years, and um, one of the semesters we studied, we read Winnie Illa Pooh, which is Winnie the Pooh in Latin. It had been translated by somebody, and it was the whole book and everything with all the pictures, and it was all in Latin, which was really fun. Just a good way to get into it. Then we went on and we translated Cicero, which is not as much fun. But uh, one of the things about Winnie the Pooh is there's these sort of, each character has sort of elements about them that of course we can all relate to, or we know someone. Eeyore is sort of the frumpy negative. Winnie the Pooh is sort of this bumbling, you know just person who just kind of has luck. And um, each character has something that we can sort of pull from it. Of course, Piglet is one of my favorites, and Piglet is, of course, very small, and there's always this sense of, from the smallness, just how much Piglet is able to impact the world. And one of the things that's said about him, it reads, Piglet noticed that even though he had a very small heart, it could hold a rather large amount of gratitude. Think about that just for a moment, about this. I always love that character, this tiny piglet, young, not able to really, just sort of bouncing around, tiny, afraid, and yet time after time, that character is filled with courage and filled with hope, and it kind of comes in and often saves the day. And there's this little sense of how much in Piglet's heart, how much room there is for that sense of gratitude. I just hold that up as a way to kind of think about this in terms of, maybe sometimes we don't feel like we have much room for gratitude in our life, or maybe our life is so overwhelming and busy that we don't have time to stop. And yet at the same time, there are these sort of times when we can really find that space, or that space might grow. So I hope that you've maybe made some efforts around a gratitude journal, keeping a list of 5 to 10 things every day. You just a little you can have just a piece of paper, you can have a little notebook, that you write down. Maybe it's an exercise in the morning or an exercise as you go to bed. The trick is, every day it's got to be 10 new things, not just the same list every time. And that way of beginning to look for things to have gratitude for, or to understand. But then also to know the tremendous capacity that you have for gratitude in that spiritual walk. And part of this is a spiritual walk with God. And ultimately, we are giving thanks to God for all of these things that are happening in our life and all of the gifts that we have. I hope you have a great day. God bless. We will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love, amazing grace, unending love, amazing grace. Good. Okay. The levels on this one are quite different. Ooh.
More or less?
More. Far, far more. Okay. Ready?